It's a message for the killer.
What did you say?
Here we go. A message for the killer? The person here who killed Wolfgang. Whoever you are, can you please step forward? Is she serious? Huh?
I want to help.
We don't have to do this. This class trial. Diana, baby. Girl. Hey, welcome back to Project Eden's Garden. Last time, one of our dear friends was murdered, and this time we will be investigating that murder. I'd like to get through the class trial today as well, but that might just be wishful thinking. I know the class trials tend to be quite long, so I'm not sure how realistic getting through the investigation and the class trial will be, but I'm going to try to do as much as possible today. So let's get back into it. Let me do what I did last time and look back over the tablet first. The victim is Wolfgang Akire, the ultimate lawyer. He was discovered in the boiler room on the underground floor. He is kneeling in the water and his upper body is slumped over the concrete platform. Estimated time of death is approximately 9:35 a.m. It still pissed me off seeing everything except the cause of death listed, especially when I knew the reason why. The cause of death. When we investigated the dummy's murder, the tablet explicitly said she died from blood loss, but this tablet, it doesn't list Wolfgang's cause of death anywhere. Of course, saying otherwise would make things too easy. The tablet's information has been divulged in such a way that both the killer and the spotless have equal chance of success. Tozu's definitely compensating for the killer, probably because they failed to hide their own tracks. And withdrawing information might be his way of balancing the odds. Bullshit rules. Who's to say they won't be abused? Regardless, Wolfgang's cause of death should be treated as the crux of this mystery. If I can figure out how he died, then everything else should fall into place. Tozu tablet number 2 has been added to the truth bullet section, blah blah blah. Okay. Alas, poor Wolfgang, the guiding light of the ultimate student, snuffed out in an instant. No use crying over it though, there's a mystery to be solved. Like any true investigation, important evidence won't always be visible on first glance. Should you ever find yourself stuck? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yep. Okay. Let's look at this. The taser. Oh, there is blood on the ground. I didn't see that before. A taser gun. Pretty random thing to be lying around a crime scene. It definitely wasn't in the boiler room prior to the murder either. Did that mean this taser gun was involved in the murder? On closer inspection, nothing about the gun looked particularly strange. Had it even been used? I'm pretty sure taser guns dispense some kind of wire when fired. Nearby were some yellow pieces of plastic on the floor. They were the same shade of yellow as the taser gun. Had these originally been attached to it? I can't tell where they would fit on the gun though. Never mind. What's the point of making guesses when I can just get him to confirm? After all, someone who's a pro at wielding guns should know them better than anyone else. I think he's talking about, what's his name? Desmond, right? I don't see the pieces of plastic though. Let's look at the blood. There was blood speckled across the floor. I didn't notice it at first due to the room's restricted lighting, but now, after my eyes had time to adjust, it couldn't be more obvious. Looks like it passes into the hallway too. I completely missed these during the blackout. Speaking of, after the body discovery announcement, everyone barged into the boiler room through this door, yet these blood spots don't look smudged. I'm guessing they were already dry by the time any of us got here, in which case, could this be Wolfgang's blood? Blood spots. Wolfgang's blood. Well, where was he bleeding from? I would have thought that it was blood from the culprit, maybe as Wolfgang tried to protect himself. Nope. Oh, knife. A knife? Why was a knife floating in the water? On the blade and in the surrounding water, I could make something out. The unmistakable color of blood. There's no doubt about it. This knife must have something to do with the murder. Why the knife was here and not actually on the platform, I had no idea. Well, if Wolfgang was holding it, he probably dropped it in the water. Since that's where his body is. Nope, I already looked at that. Yep. I wanted to see this shrapnel. What is that? Chunks of something red were floating nearby the generator. It almost looked like metal, or maybe plastic. Were these originally part of the generator? The colors and material don't seem to match, though. Is it like, I have no idea. Some kind of electronic device, maybe? There's a cord in the water. Judging by the length, I think it's an extension cord. But what the hell happened to the other end of it? There was no internal plug, just a frayed tip lined with a black substance. Had the cord been burnt? I didn't see this cord in the boiler room earlier, so it probably came from someplace else. One of the storage rooms, maybe. It wasn't always in this condition, that's for sure. All the items we provided so far, light bulbs, speakers, a fridge, they've worked perfectly well. So what happened to this cord, and why was it even in the water? How do I... Oh, yeah. Generator, and then the body. Half of the generator's internals had melted away, and what still remained was almost completely singed. Yeah, this is definitely the cause of the power outage. What could have melted the wires, though? It looked like a bomb had gone off in there. Okay. That's probably what the red stuff is. Now that I think about it, during the game tournament... Taking a deep breath, I steady my grip. Yep. There had been a loud boom right before the blackout happened, similar to a firework going off or someone firing a gun. Did I overhear the sound of the generator being destroyed? You did. Nothing else near the dining hall could have made that kind of noise, I don't think. If my assumption is correct, the generator would have been destroyed around the same time the murder was committed. Around the same time. There's no way the two events are not connected, but I'm also working purely off my memory of the boom. To be absolutely sure, I need to know when exactly the blackout occurred. Was there any way for me to find that out? I'll inspect the rest of the scene first before I go near his body. Okay. Sure. Well, all that's left are... Boy, take a whiff of the air. Ain't there something off about it? I followed his instructions and sniffed the air. It smells like burnt rubber. The cord.
That ain't it.
Because of the busted generator, yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. There's another scent, a real bitter one. You might actually be onto something. It's almost like cereal and rubbing alcohol?
Bad
What?
news.
Indeed, I'm suspecting a mighty chemical reaction at work. I've had my fair share of travels across the sea, and I'm no stranger to foul play. There's no stench worse than one of a disastrous combustion.
It is how it is.
Thing is, I got no idea where it's coming from. Really? The smell's supposedly that of a chemical reaction. Where else could it be coming from besides the busted generator? Unless Jean's conclusion about the smell is wrong? I wouldn't put it past him. Odd smell.
Terrible.
The generator over there is partially submerged in the water. I think we would be wise to stay on this platform. Was he worried about the water being electrified? Well, kind of seems like that's what happened to Wolfgang. Eva and I managed to stand in it way back when. I don't see why now would be any different. Maybe because there was a cord sitting in it? Then again, the generator wasn't damaged last time. Damn. Yeah, since Wolfgang is kneeling in the water, we should avoid touching him.
No.
You don't know for sure if the water's unsafe.
Huh?
Listen to me.
Before you start making conclusions, you should experiment first. Saying that, Eva walked over to a pile of boxes and pulled out a light bulb. Oh, I see what you're doing. Sure enough, Eva went straight to the edge of the platform and threw the light bulb into the water.
Look,
See? It's not lighting up. That means the water is safe.
Well,
I see. Then I suppose it's safe to inspect Wolfgang.
Okay.
Are you going to? I think I will observe from afar instead. Now isn't the time to be listening to your nerves. Alright, Winona?
Hello?
Winona, you're still here?
seriously?
Is there a problem with that? Why does she need to frame everything I say in the worst light? I'm preparing to hold a one-on-one session with Ulysses. I was consulting him about something important before we were interrupted by the announcement. Is that what you were doing before the blackout? Repeat that?
It's simple.
The blackout. Were you still with Ulysses when it happened?
Come on.
Or Ulysses? You're not speaking any sense. There was no power outage. What? She can't be serious. That blackout affected the entire building, unless...
Anyways.
Let me rephrase. Where were you when the murder happened?
Sheesh.
Where were you? At Cassidy's game tournament in the dining hall.
Oh, really?
Really? Not what I expected.
Let me see.
Ulysses and I spent the morning by the large tree. We stayed there up to and including the time of Wolfgang's murder. Sounded like she had an alibi then. As for the location she mentioned, I assumed this entire building complex connected to the one generator, but it made more sense for that tree area to have its own separate system. Hence why I didn't lose power. What about the courtyard though? Was anyone there at the time of the blackout? Alright. Eva? Aren't you going to investigate Wolfgang? Me?
Yeah.
Who else? Back when we mistook that dummy for a body, you poked it pretty nonchalantly.
Hang on.
That's different. I never thought it was real.
I see.
I see. Now that we are finally advancing in the investigation, her cool composure had all but vanished. Typical, I guess. She can only keep up an act for so long. Alright, now can we look at the body? Okay, nope. What are we missing? Is it the shrapnel still? Okay. I mean, not shrapnel, the taser. After all, someone who's a pro at wielding guns should know them better than anyone else. Well, okay. So, like, what do you want me to do with that? Because I would think they'd want us to talk to Desmond, but he's not in here. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Okay. Oh. Why talk to him already? Why is he yellow?
Hi.
Why did you move over here? It's... Are you afraid of blood? I mean, are you afraid of blood?
A struggle.
I feel it's highly important we investigate anything and everything we can, unless you're involved. That's why I moved over here to investigate. More like he didn't want to be near Wolfgang's body. And what was the first for the investigation? Something other than fear appeared on Ulysses' face. It was curiosity. Oh, so he's not afraid.
Eh?
What is it? Look at the floor in front of the door.
That's...
This? Yes.
Seriously?
This is just a small piece of scrap metal. Looks like a bobby pin.
Do you think?
Even so, it's still a part of the crime scene. It necessitates documentation.
That's not important.
Seriously? Something this small means nothing. It could have come from the generator or the pipes above us. Ingrid could have been carrying it for all we know. This guy. There's so much here he could actually document, and instead he's focusing on some flimsy piece of metal. Nope, that's probably going to be your key to solving it. All the more reason to rely on myself. Thin piece of metal. Yeah, it's obviously a bobby pin. And if it's a bobby pin, is that supposed to be a hint as to how the murder was committed or who it was committed by. Because if it's a hint towards who, that means we're probably looking at somebody who has their hair pulled back. Which means it's time to look at the body. Just yesterday, Wolfgang was talking with us, eating breakfast with us, and now he's dead. Who had the resolve to commit such a needlessly brutal murder? To go so far as to mangle his body? I couldn't unpack it. I didn't know how to. This wasn't just some dummy I had to investigate. This was a real person. It was so far out of my expertise, let alone my comfort zone.
Hello.
Do you want to inspect him? Holy crap, did she really have to scare me like that? Yeah, I do want to inspect him. It's just the idea of getting close to him.
Where?
I'll investigate with you. It'll be easier for both of us that way. Right?
Right.
Alright. Okay. Look at his eyes. The water is not electrified, or conductive, but the way his face looks, it definitely seems like he got electrocuted. Wolfgang laid completely still, his face frozen in a look of horror. Oh my gosh, I can't read today. His once bright eyes were shrouded in darkness, and his mouth was open as if he'd been killed mid-scream. Eva's expression said it all. Wolfgang did everything in his power to make us outcasts and make the worst of us. Make you outcasts? Okay, that's a bit much. I don't think he did that. At times, I even hated him for it. You did it to yourselves, honestly. But this brought no relief to either of us. Wolfgang, what happened in his final moments that left him so terrified? Was it the realization he was about to die? Probably. Mulling over the what-ifs won't bring me any closer to solving Wolfgang's murder. Right now, my focus should be to find evidence. And that begins by investigating his body. Okay, well, let's look at his face. What's going on here? There didn't seem to be any strange markings on Wolfgang's face. However, along the back of his neck was a massive bruise. Okay, so somebody hit him. That looks like a really bad injury. Almost his entire neck is discolored.
Damn.
Right, how did he get this on the back of his neck? Nothing around us seems to have left it. This might sound morbid, but what if it's a sign of his body decomposing? That fast? Can a body really decompose this fast? Right. It could, or it could not. Okay, so probably not. It probably depends on the environment. As in the temperature?
Correct.
Correct. Cold places are generally better at preserving things than warm, humid areas like this boiler room.
Thinking.
Kind of like dairy products. That's a good comparison. A tone-deaf one, but sure. Wolfgang didn't have this bruise yesterday, at the very least. If he did, it would have been super noticeable.
Fair.
Yeah, true. Turning my attention back to Wolfgang, I caught something else on his body. Near the mark on his neck, but not directly overlapping it, a red dot. Is that a beauty mark? Doesn't look like it. Was he punctured with something? The skin around the dot seems to be inflamed. It reminds me of a popped pimple. The sort of wound you could easily inflict on yourself.
So...
Then you don't think this is related to the murder. It might not be, but
There must be
judging by the
something.
lack of scabbing, this was inflicted pretty recently, so we may as well keep it in mind. Wolfgang's neck has been added to the truth bullet section of your Tozer trinket. Alright, we're not going to talk about how everything is like leaking from him. Tears, snot, saliva. He looks a mess. With the way Wolfgang was slumped over the platform, it almost looked like he'd fallen on top of it.
Focus.
Let me see if his palms are scratched. As I knelt down to take a closer look... Ooh, look at his hand. trickling out from under the cuff of Wolfgang's sleeve and onto the rest of his hand. A strange injury that looked a lot like a tree sapling. Was this a burn mark? When I looked at Wolfgang's other hand, I saw the same thing. Markings that seemed to extend down the arm.
The hell?
Eva, look at this.
Hello.
Let me see. Yeah, burn marks. That's really horrible. They look like gross little veins. What inflicted them? There's a taser a little ways off from where we're standing, but I couldn't find anything to indicate it's been fired. So the only other thing I can think of is the generator.
Is that really true?
Why the generator?
I know.
The thing has clearly been destroyed by something. Maybe Wolfgang got caught in that something and that's how he died.
Not sure.
I'm not sure. The generator seems too far away from where Wolfgang is lying to cause burns like these.
Look at this.
Plus, the room's water isn't conductive, so electricity couldn't have traveled through it.
Right.
You're right. Anything able to melt the generator's wires would have burnt his suit to a crisp, too. Exactly.
Thinking.
I think Wolfgang received these burns outside the boiler room. There's just nothing here that could leave these markings. As for the actual place he got burnt, guess we'll have to try and find it ourselves. That is, if such a place even exists. While it's possible the generator may not have been involved in the murder, it seemed unlikely that Wolfgang made a detour for the boiler room after being severely burnt. After all, burns like this would definitely paralyze someone. As for Wolfgang's palms, they didn't have any markings on them. Still, he must have fallen somehow. Why else would he be lying on the platform? Wolfgang's suit was completely crumpled, a far cry from his once clean appearance. Water had seeped into the pants, completely ruining the fabric. As I leaned in close, I spotted a folded piece of paper sticking out from his back pocket. Ooh, is it somebody's, blackmail? Though it was soaked, it wasn't completely destroyed.
Damn.
I really don't want to touch him, but with my thumb and index finger, I snatched the paper out of his pocket, taking care not to brush my hand against his body. I gingerly folded open the paper, aware that some of the wetter spots could fall apart immediately, and found a message written inside. That's some very ugly handwriting. Do you recognize it?
No.
Well, can I see? A lot of the text is unreadable. Whoever wrote this probably used a low-quality pen. Although, at the bottom of the page, fragments of a message were still visible. Secret, 8:15, boiler room, close the door. Close the door. So 8:15. What time? The game tournament was what time? The morning announcement goes off at 8? But Kai and Damon slept through it. Doesn't this read a lot like a command? It seems like someone wanted to arrange a private meeting with him here.
I see.
Could that someone be the culprit?
Not sure.
8:15 a.m. That's a long time before the time of death, though. Maybe there was a struggle, or maybe Wolfgang arrived late.
There must be something.
Either way, this message is definitely a valuable clue. It's our only insight into Wolfgang's movements before his death.
Well?
Now I really want to know where everyone was at the time. I woke up at 8:30 this morning, so I was asleep when this meeting was scheduled to happen. It's only 35 minutes before the tournament. Cassidy, Jet, Mark, and I would have already been in the dining hall.
Right.
Setting up the equipment. As for the other students, directly asking them where they were at 8:15 might be risky, because they would wonder where we got the time from. Exactly, and I prefer to keep this note between the two of us. Why? If you're all trying to work together, why not let everybody know what evidence you're finding, so we can find the culprit? At least for now. Suspicious note.
Anyways.
This thing about a secret, what do you think that means?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really sure. It could be referring to anything. Anything, huh? You know what it means?
I know.
I have an idea. The author of this letter might be talking about Wolfgang's blackmail. Yep.
Huh.
If they claimed to have it, they could have baited him here without much issue. After all, Wolfgang asked us to meet with the person whose blackmail we had.
Strange.
A derelict boiler room is a pretty ominous place to meet someone, though. It would have been Wolfgang's first time here, too, assuming he didn't explore this floor beforehand.
What could it be?
Either he didn't see the super obvious danger of meeting here alone, or he did realize and just didn't care.
Right.
Does that change anything about what I said? Well, duh. If Wolfgang knew the warning signs, his reason for coming might have less to do with integrity.
You see?
And more to do with desperation.
Huh?
Desperation. To know the details of his blackmail.
I see.
It would stand to reason. If only Wolfgang had hidden this note somewhere safe instead of bringing it here. It would have been valuable evidence. I doubt he could have envisioned something like this happening. He was never really on his guard during this killing game, except around you and me, I guess. We're gonna look at his body. Now that I think about it, the place where Wolfgang laid was odd. What were the chances he would end up here, between the only opening of the fence? The one spot where he could kneel over like this. Was it possible he'd been trying to climb onto the platform before he died? It's strange why he didn't use the stairs though, and even stranger that he was even in the water. That seemed to be everything I could gather.
Hello.
Hey, Damon. Since we've inspected the boiler room, we should find the students who left and ask them for their testimonies.
Right.
They went upstairs to investigate Wolfgang's dorm, right? Yes, because of what I said earlier. The victim's last known whereabouts are the best places to search for clues.
Okay.
Alright, let's see what they've been up to. Apart from collecting testimonies, there were two other matters on my mind. One, getting Desmond to inspect the taser gun, and two, pinpointing exactly when the blackout occurred in case it happened at the time of the murder. I walked over to the boiler room door, which had been left slightly ajar, but as I began to pull it the rest of the way open, I noticed it. What are you looking at? Doorknob? The doorknob, something about it looked different. Was it switched out? Hey, Eva. The doorknob, I think it's been flipped. Oh, with the lock on the inside instead of the outside. Flipped? Are you sure? Take a look for yourself. The first time we woke up here, I'm pretty sure this lock was on the inside, not the outside. Oh. It was reversed.
Is that really true?
How would someone be able to flip a doorknob, though? Oh, with tools?
That's...
By unscrewing it, probably. Okay. Why didn't you say something earlier?
Huh?
What do you mean? This is the first time I've noticed it.
Is that really true?
Really? You didn't notice it back when you entered the boiler room with Kai? No, not even then. It might have been because of the darkness or my own nerves. But back then I wasn't paying attention to small details like the doorknob. All I wanted to do was enter the boiler room.
Anyways.
I know that makes me sound stupid.
Listen to me.
It's okay. I mean, I probably would have noticed the doorknob had I been there, but that's besides the point. Okay, Eva. Alright. Anyway, this discovery paints an interesting picture. Since the lock was now accessible from the hallway, you could technically lock the boiler room shut without ever stepping foot in it. Meaning that if you want to lock someone inside the boiler room, all you have to do is lure them in and close the door behind them.
Moving on.
Come on, we need to collect people's testimonies before the investigation ends. Right, let's go. But then that also means... that whoever did it had to also be around to unlock it before everybody went down. As a million questions rattled away in my mind, I followed Eva out of the boiler room. Actually, Eva, before we go upstairs, it's probably worth checking out the storage closets first. Why?
I know.
I found something in the boiler room that might be related to them. Judging my length, yep, an extension cord. Okay, let's go look. That extension cord, we should confirm if it did indeed come from a storage closet. Okay.
However,
But first, I want to talk to Cassidy.
Come again?
You want to talk to her? Yes, I want to talk to her. Is that bad? She wasn't much help last investigation. Well, any help is better than no help.
Fair.
Alright, I'll talk to Cassidy first, and then I'll investigate the storage closets on this floor. Cassidy was pacing around the hallway with a finger on her chin, seemingly doing nothing.
Yo!
Oh, hey guys. Sorry for not noticing you sooner. I was performing a super sweep down of this here hallway. That's a lot of words for wandering around aimlessly.
Listen to me.
Can you put your sweep down on hold? I have a really important question.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Just don't drag it on too long, okay? Gotta finish my sweep down before time's up.
You see?
Do you remember who attended the tournament? The game tournament? Huh. Everyone who was slated to join kept their word, so we had a full house.
What about...
There were 8 people in total. Jet, Mark, Grace, John, Kai, and the 3 of us.
Huh?
Something on your mind? Well, since the murder happened in the boiler room, wouldn't that mean everyone in the dining hall has an alibi?
Ooh!
Well, here's the thing. Not quite, because if the culprit set up whatever they set up in the boiler room to kill Wolfgang and could lock the door from the outside, they could have done all that at the 8:15 meeting time and then left and gone to do something else to create an alibi. So I wouldn't say the gaming tournament is a solid alibi, except for the people who were there before, I would say like at 8 through that time. I didn't even think of that. She's totally right. Also, since we split into pairs while investigating those rooms down the hall, every parent can vouch for each other.
Right.
Right, we all split up. What were the groups again?
Yep.
Jet and I explored storage closet B.
Huh?
Storage closet B?
Check it out.
That's what it's called on the map. Does she mean the map up? Yes. What other map, Damon? I activate my trinket, and sure enough, see storage closet B. There's also storage closet A, storage closet C, and storage closet D. Those are definitely the rooms we explored.
I see.
I see. In that case, Kai and I must have explored storage closet C. I remember it clearly. The 2 of us checked the closet above and opposite the one Cassidy searched. According to this map, the only closet to fit those perimeters is storage closet C.
Correct.
Grace and I investigated the closet directly next to Damon's, so we must have been inside storage closet A.
Yeah.
Which leaves Mark and John with storage closet D. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. A, C, B, D. You know, Damo, since you're here,
Question.
what's the deal with you in the boiler room?
Huh?
What? When Kai told us party peeps about Wolfie, he said you 2 went inside the boiler room.
How?
The heck did you do that for? You were supposed to check out the storage closet.
No.
You're not casting suspicion on me, are you? Me? No way. As far as Cass is concerned, everyone is innocent until proven otherwise. I investigated the storage closet with Kai. We just didn't find anything inside.
Anyway.
Although we did hear someone run down the hallway.
Am I hearing you right?
For real? Man, unlucky. All that work for nothing. What's the plan now? Do we just, like, go back outside? Let's check out... Oh, why am I reading this? This already happened. Yep, the running.
Doubt it.
Weird, I don't remember any footsteps.
It's the truth.
I do.
Really?
Eva, did you really? I heard them while Grace and I were investigating the storage room next to yours.
However...
I just brushed it off as my imagination, though. Guess me and Jet must have been talking over them. Were those footsteps the reason you entered the boiler room, Damo? It's Damon, and yeah, they came from the direction of that room, so I wanted to see what the person was running from.
For real?
Really? I would have just chased after the footsteps. I mean, entering the boiler room after something like that, you weren't scared a murderer was hiding inside? What I actually discovered wasn't much better. True. Then whose footsteps could those have been? I don't know why anyone would want to be running around those spooky hallways, let alone in the dark.
What about...
Unless... Ooh, maybe they were looking for a backup generator?
That's not important.
I doubt it's that innocent. Considering the place this person ran away from was the crime scene, those footsteps were probably the killer's. You mean fresh off committing the murder?
Right.
Fresh off the murder, or a bit after. This depends what time we went downstairs. Either way, whether it was immediately after the murder or not, for a brief moment, the only thing separating us from Wolfgang's killer were the storage room walls. That's creepy to think about. Thus, bit by bit, the mystery slowly unravels. No need to thank me, 'tis all in a day's work. She didn't even do anything. Okay, let's look at the map. Okay, so we were in C. Cassidy and John were in B. Eva and Grace were in A, and Mark and Jet were in D. So, the person who was running, it could have been the murderer. Maybe that's when they unlocked the door and ran. Or it could have been somebody who discovered the body before us and ran because they were scared. Alright, let's look. Okay, this is storage closet A. Yeah, let's take a look around. Okay, this is the one Eva and Ingrid were in. As I began to, not Ingrid, Eva and Grace. As I began to inspect the shelves, the glint of something shiny caught my eye.
That...
Eva, look. There's a rolling pin here. Ooh, it's bent. Maybe this is what he got hit with on his neck. A rolling pin here and handprints on it too.
Strange.
What are you implying? That someone used this recently and not for its intended purpose.
I know.
Look, can you see how the handprints are at the base of the pin? You aren't rolling much dough if you're wielding this thing like a tennis racket, are you? Oh wait, she's a golfer. Never mind. I was gonna say Grace is looking suspicious now, but I forgot she plays golf, not tennis. The pin is also really dusty. If it came from the kitchen, it would be clean like the other utensils here. Well, if it's dusty, was it really used? Not only that,
Jeez.
Right, there's a dent on the pin too. Really? On the end opposite the handprints, can you see it?
Weird.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Handprints and a dent. That's definitely not a coincidence.
Focus.
Could this pin have something to do with that mark we found on Wolfgang's neck? If it was used to knock him out, it would not only explain the dent on the pin, but the bruise on Wolfgang's neck. How did it make its way into this closet, though?
Huh?
What do you mean? How did the pin make its way into the closet after the killer used it?
There must be
I mean, if the
something.
footsteps kind I heard were the killers, they probably chucked the pin in here on their way out. But Eva and Grace would have heard it.
Absolutely not.
That's not what happened.
Huh?
If the killer entered this closet and hid the rolling pin,
Listen to me.
Grace and I would have seen them. Right. Of course, she and Grace were investigating this closet at the time. What if the killer placed a pin in here before any of us came downstairs? That's probably more likely.
Save it.
If they were out in the hallway, why didn't they use that as their chance to escape? She's right about that, too. Could this rolling pin really be unrelated? But it lines up so well with the other evidence.
Moving on.
Okay, I don't think there's anything else to this room. Let's keep investigating. One moment she's speaking nonsense, the next she's totally coherent. I don't think I'll ever understand this girl. Well, so she's saying the culprit couldn't have put it in before for some reason, because they could have left then. I don't understand her reasoning for that. But that they couldn't have put it in when they were all down here because she and Grace would have heard it. I don't know. She and Grace are looking a little suspicious now, because then the only other solution or possibility is that it's one of them, and that's why they were able to put it in here without, you know, it being a problem. Sure. Okay, but no cord. Okay, so this one.
Interesting.
The map says this is storage closet B.
Right.
Right, the closet Cassidy and Jet explored.
Look.
Do you see that? See what? The box in the corner over there. Look. Confused, I turned to where she was pointing. This is something red.
Yeah.
A generator, right? The one you were referring to during the blackout?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Since I've explored these rooms before, I knew one of them had a backup generator.
That's...
If this closet has a backup generator, wouldn't that mean the ones who restore the power? Well, Cassidy and Jet were the only people who entered this room, and they're the people who brought the power back. Damn, I'm surprised those two actually knew how to navigate a generator. Okay. So Cassidy and Jet turned on the power. This was the closet Kai and I explored. It was hard to get a good look at its contents in the dark, but seeing it now, there doesn't seem to be anything important here. I think we can move on. Okay. This one has a lot of stuff in it.
Look.
This is storage closet D.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark and Jean explored this one. Let's see what I can find here. Is there anything weird about this room?
That's...
I think I see something behind this pile of boxes. I stood on my tiptoes to get a better look, and...
Jeez.
So they really are here.
Well?
What's here? Extension cords. A whole bunch of them.
Strange.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, these are definitely the same type of cord I saw in the boiler room. Only difference is, these still have their other half intact. The internal plugs are pretty slim compared to other kinds of cords. The fact these cords match the one in the boiler room means the killer must have rummaged through these closets for equipment. For what reason they needed the cord, I have no idea, but this was still a step in the right direction. Besides that box of cords, nothing else about this room is standing out to me.
So...
Do you want to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. We've looked through all the closets now.
So...
Did you find everything you needed?
Yeah.
I did. The rolling pin and that stack of extension cords, there's no doubting their relevance to this case. At least based on what I've investigated so far.
Anyway.
Eva, let's go upstairs and collect some more testimonies.
Where?
Finally. I'm, right now, most suspicious of Eva and Grace. Because both of them were in that closet with the rolling pin. And also, the extension cords came from one of the closets too. And we know that Eva went through those closets before, so she kind of knows what's already in them. And also, Eve was the only one we told about Wolfgang's blackmail. And I just feel like somehow it's related, especially since the note said something about meeting and secrets and stuff. Heading upstairs would be a bad idea. There are things in this hallway I still need to investigate. What? I thought we are collecting testimonies. Do we need to talk to Cassidy about turning on the generator? Oh. There's dried blood on the floor. For some reason, it seemed to pool right around this particular spot. Dried blood, like in the boiler room.
Eh?
You noticed the blood in there?
Correct.
I noticed you noticing it.
I see.
See. So who do you think left all this blood behind?
Focus.
Well, it can't be Wolfgang, can it? Considering the sort of injuries he sustained, it wouldn't make sense for him to have spilt a lot of blood.
There must be
Which means the only possibility we're left with is
What could it be?
the blood belongs to someone else? Yeah, exactly. Okay, but is it a someone else, or is it a culprit someone else? If I didn't notice the blood here, would you have pointed it out to me?
Eh?
I would have pointed it out to you if the roles were reversed. That way you'd know not to step on it.
Right.
Sure, I'd point it out. What?
Thanks.
Okay, Eva. She's being kind of weird. Eva and Grace explored storage closet A, Jet and I explored storage closet B, you and Kai explored storage closet C, and Mark and Sean explored storage closet D.
Yep.
That's definitely the order. Okay. I guess we were just supposed to find the blood. Alright, let's go upstairs. As Eva and I emerged from the basement, on the lookout for anything which could aid us in our investigation,
Eh?
right in front of us, a flustered Eloise was huddled with her back to the wall. Standing next to her,
Yeah.
sup, you guys. Might want to lower your voice around here. Some stuff has happened. Ooh, what stuff?
What could it be?
Is something wrong? Sorry, Eloise had a bit of a frightening experience recently.
You think?
I think we all have.
No kidding.
Well, yeah, the scene downstairs is bad, but I'm talking about something else. After Tozu left, we tried going inside Wolfgang's room to look for clues. At the moment we stepped in, she suddenly pounced on me, Grace. She dragged me out and Desmond ran after us. I haven't been able to get my heart to stop beating so quickly since. Grace? Is she you're referring to?
Shit.
Yep, it's Grace. She's been guarding Wolfgang's dorm ever since she kicked us out. Grace was blocking access to Wolfgang's dorm? What the hell? We can't let her bar us from entering his room. The class trial could start at any moment. That's what I tried telling everyone else, but they pretty much gave up. Jet and Mark went to the dining hall, Diana went to the laundry room, and Toshiko and Ingrid went to the courtyard. Eloise and I, though, we're not gonna let this slide. We gotta get inside that dorm room, so we've been brainstorming other ways to approach Grace.
Think about it this
Just beat
way.
her ass, what? And we've landed on something. Performing a brief inquisition. Inquisition? If Grace doesn't want to cooperate, we'll start badgering her with questions. Poke at her ego until it eventually retreats.
Safety first.
If you want, you can join us. A debater must be good at dishing verbal beatdowns, yeah? I did come here to inspect Wolfgang's dorm, so I might as well. If that's the case,
I'm out.
I'll go to the dining hall and ask Jet and Mark for their testimonies.
Eh?
You're not coming along?
Where?
Grace isn't someone I'd like to be around right now. You three can handle her. Something tells me she's just afraid of her talent being mocked.
Right.
No sweat. Have fun with Jet and Mark.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Eva left in the direction of the laundromat, clearly taking the long route to the dining hall. Should we approach Grace then?
Totally.
Yeah, let's not waste any time.
Okay.
Right, okay. Do you want to take the lead, Damon? Oh, sure. I wasn't going to admit it to either of their faces, but their plan seemed pretty half-baked. Not because I was going to face off with Grace, sure, but because she was too. How could a bumbling person like her be of any help in a verbal showdown? If anything, she'll probably make us look uncoordinated. Guess I'll have to do most of the heavy lifting here. Since Grace was guarding Wolfgang's dorm, she should be right around the corner. So... oh yeah, there she is. Now I'm kind of doubting whether Grace did it or not, because I feel like if she did it, this is too obvious. I think it's more like she wants to stop us from seeing what she and Wolfgang were getting into in his room at night. Or that in general, she's just sad and feeling protective over his stuff. Bitch, move. Don't you two yuppies get it? You're not coming in.
Don't get it mixed up.
Hang on, we're not here for that. Damon just wants to ask you a question.
Back off.
He isn't coming in either.
Jeez.
Why not? I need to investigate Wolfgang's dorm room.
Soybean.
Back off, Soybean. His room is none of your business. Except it is. I have to search his last known whereabouts, which includes his dorm room by default.
See that?
What have I said? I've done the job for you.
Come again?
As in, you searched the room? High and low. Want to know what I found? Nothing. For us to believe that, we need to see it ourselves.
Oi!
You think I'm lying?
Just saying.
There's a chance you could be, unfortunately.
Eh?
Think about it. You haven't given us any reason to believe you. Someone who's got nothing to hide wouldn't be acting so protective right now, you know? It gives the impression there's something you really don't want us to see.
Anyway.
Also, couldn't this be considered breaking the rules? Tozy wants this game to be fair, but being prevented from searching every room doesn't seem very fair.
Don't test me.
Even if it isn't, what are you gonna do? I'll report it to Tozu. Oh, Eloise. Bless your heart. Huh?
You.
Ah?
Makes sense.
Nice idea. What do you say we look for him now? If Tozu agrees this is sabotage, he might call Mara to help. Oh, that's right. She almost got blown up before. That's right. Okay, so she is actually scared of him. Oi, it's not sabotage. I'm not hiding anything about the murder. Don't try to get me involved. Desmond never mentioned Wolfgang's murder.
Anyway.
Look, just let us into the room. If you're telling the truth, we'll drop our suspicions.
Gotta stay one step
The
ahead.
reality of the situation is we gotta invade Wolfgang's privacy if we want to know what happened to him. He would want to investigate our dorms if it were anyone else who died. Grace stood there silently, gritting her teeth. Then she stepped away from the door.
Okay.
Phew. Sweet. Thanks, Grace. With sighs of relief, we entered Wolfgang's dorm. Eloise ended up being much more helpful than Damon anticipated. Clothes on the floor. A tie on the floor. On the chair. So this was Wolfgang's dorm. While some of my expectations were correct, a lot about the room still surprised me. I anticipated the layout resembling my dorms and the decor reflecting his talent. What I didn't anticipate was how messy it was. Well, maybe not messy, just really casual. A room that had clearly been well lived in.
Oi, you.
Don't move things around when you inspect them. I want to keep the room as is. Yeah, she's feeling sad about him. To be honest, I'm not sure why I was even surprised. Okay. Clothes were scattered across the room, including a familiar-looking woman's jacket. Nothing about them looked suspicious. An intricately patterned couch side by side with two red sofa chairs. Even the throw pillows seemed to be arranged in just the right way. A large toy bear adorned the bed. Something tells me this didn't belong in the room originally. Is there anything in the drawers? Wolfgang also had a pinup calendar in his room. This isn't what I should be focusing on during a murder investigation. Are one of these bookshelves fake? Huge wooden bookshelves filled to the brim with a catalog of books towered over the room. Skimming the titles, most seemed to be about the intricacies of the legal system, although some were about old court cases rehashed with new evidence. Did Wolfgang really read any of these, or were they all just for show? Nothing else left but to talk.
Ugh.
We're not here for that, my ass. Hey. Normally, she'd be meeting my eyes.
Quit it.
I know you suspect me. I can tell by the look on your face. But I don't know anything about his death. To be in the dark like everyone else about a person she was so close to. Damn it, get a grip on yourself, Damon. Grace can claim to know nothing about the murder, but what about everything before it?
Anyway.
So I heard a rumor you became Wolfgang's new bunk buddy. This room seems to confirm that. How was he this morning? Grumpy? Happy? Sick.
Eh?
We were planning to go to the game tournament, but he woke up with an ache in his stomach. He was lying. He woke up sick. He just wanted to get away from her to go to the boiler room, I think. If you're telling me the truth and Wolfgang planned to attend the tournament,
That's not it.
why did he say the opposite yesterday? Admittedly, I'm also a little hesitant about attending. From what I remember, Wolfgang said he'd be too busy to attend the tournament. More like he wanted another round at the pachinko machine.
Watch and learn.
I would know. I interrogated him after breakfast.
No.
What? That's seriously what he meant?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, huh? Which was why I told him, hey, no, let's do the tournament. He was a bit finicky at first, typical for a soybean, but he eventually caved. Wolfgang was a pachinko player? I'm not sure I could believe that. Then again, some of the paraphernalia in his room looked neither golf nor law related.
Okay.
Alright, so based on what you're saying, Wolfgang agreed to attend the tournament yesterday. However, come this morning, Wolfgang remembered the pirate was attending, so he suggested I track down that guy and partner with him instead.
Right.
Right, because you need to bring a partner to the tournament. Wolfgang, he knew I was miffed about it. His smile said as much. But I walked out the door anyway.
Dumbass.
Wolfgang said he was too sick to get out of bed, so I walked away. If Wolfgang really had been bedridden, how did he wind up in the boiler room? I think he was lying. Either he didn't come of his own volition, or he was never sick to begin with. Yep. By the look on her face, I could tell Grace realized the same. With all that said, it wasn't like Wolfgang to hide anything. For a guy who's so gung-ho about honesty, you'd think he would confide in the person he's closest to. Did the letter I find inside his blazer pocket have something to do with it? While only a few words were legible, a lot could be gleaned from them. For example, that mention of a secret. Did the rest of the note elaborate on it, or was the word alone enough to scare Wolfgang? Maybe he wanted to shield Grace from information even he couldn't handle. Or maybe he simply didn't want her to know. Whatever the reason, Wolfgang Akire deliberately hid information from someone. Ironic, huh? Eloise was kneeling on the floor, sorting through Wolfgang's bedside ottoman with a serious look on her face.
Hi.
Hey, can we talk for a second?
Give me a moment.
Okay. She closed the ottoman and stood up, now wearing the same nervous expression she always did. Is there something wrong? I want to know your whereabouts during Wolfgang's murder. Oh. When the murder happened, I was with Desmond in the courtyard.
Eh?
The courtyard? Yes? You can ask Desmond to confirm if you're confused. No, I'm fine.
It's simple.
Let me just ask this. What were you doing during the blackout? Blackout? Yeah, you did experience it, right?
That's not...
No, I don't think there was ever a blackout. We were only alerted to the murder because of Tozu's announcement.
I see.
So my theory was right. If Winona never experienced a blackout in the tree room, and Eloise never experienced a blackout in the courtyard, both those buildings must be connected to an entirely different power source. What's up, Damon?
Hi.
Hey, can you check something out for me?
Easy enough.
In here or
That's not it.
in the boiler room? I found a taser gun in there.
Are you for real?
I can't tell if it's been fired or not. I don't think it has, but I want to know for sure, because if I'm wrong and this taser gun was used, it might clue us into the nature of Wolfgang's death.
No kidding.
What we're talking about is that big a deal, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you're skilled at using guns, I figured...
All good.
No sweat. I'll see to it once I'm done here. Thanks for the heads up, Damon. Well, that's all I could find. Why was Grace so antsy about people entering? There didn't seem to be anything suspicious lying around here. In any case, since I'm done here, I should head to the dining hall. I'm pretty sure that's where Eva said she was going. So, the fact that the blackout only affected the main building, I think means that the culprit is likely one of the people who are in the main building. Like one of the people somehow who are in the tournament. Unless somebody was hiding elsewhere in the building. Okay. As soon as I entered the room, Eva walked over to me.
Hello.
Hello, I've just finished talking to everyone here. Anything important?
Rage.
Nothing important. I don't think Jet and Mark are taking this seriously. This might end like the mock trial where only a couple of people know what they're doing. Does she really think so? While that information definitely didn't bode well for me, I couldn't afford to be discouraged by it. Not unless I want to die in this game.
Focus.
I'll see if I can make those two talk.
Thanks.
Good luck. Are we just here to talk to them, or are we investigating also? Yeah, just talking, I guess. And looking at this board. Nope, I didn't want to leave. Let's look at the board first. Cassidy had clearly spent a lot of time doodling this. She must be upset that we didn't even finish a single round. The first time people have a get-together and they're interrupted by a murder. Thinking back on it, the game tournament and the murder happened really close to each other. The former began at 9 a.m., while the latter occurred at 9:35 a.m. That's within the same hour. So, if the tournament started at 9, and Kai and Damon were the first ones to go, I don't think, and they didn't even finish, I don't think that would have taken 35 minutes, which means Wolfgang likely was killed while everybody was down there during the blackout. Like, his body hadn't been sitting there. It happened. I don't know. Taking another look at this whiteboard. Yeah, I can see why the killer chose to attack so soon. 8 potential witnesses all situated in one place, too preoccupied with video games to notice the world around them. There couldn't be a more perfect time to strike. Mark had returned to his position by the equipment.
Hi.
Hey, Desmond and Eloise told me you plan to investigate Wolfgang's dorm. Grace isn't gardening anymore, so you can go inside now. Let me guess, you don't want to investigate?
It's nothing.
I just came here to make sure my interface wasn't damaged. This investigation could spell the difference between life and death, yet his priority was his stupid music equipment? Oh my god, I cannot talk today. Don't you think it looks suspicious what you're doing?
What?
I heard people are already giving Grace the side eye for being uncooperative. People? You mean you? What might they say if they find out you've ditched the investigation?
Slow down.
Yo, hold on. Jet called out to us from the other side of the room and ran over. Can't you see Broski isn't feeling well? Give the guy some space.
That's not important.
I don't care. I'm working on a time limit. Who are you to talk anyway? Judging by the look on Broski's face whenever you guys are together,
It's simple.
out of everyone here, I think you'd know the least about personal space. What? No way. Sure, Mark might not talk a whole lot, but if he wasn't having fun, do you really think we'd be hanging out so much?
Broskies always stick
Come on,
together.
broski, back me up here. Time. What time did the murder happen?
That's
9:35 a.m.? Check this. He pointed to a small digital clock at the top of the music pad.
that's
That's when the blackout happened. So he died right when the generator failed, so he had to have been like, but the water wasn't conductive. But it could have been. This is the time of the murder. It was like this when I came back here. I think the clock got screwed over by the blackout, so now it's frozen on whatever it was displaying before it lost power. Then, that confirms my suspicions. The blackout, and by association the destruction of the generator, occurred at the time of Wolfgang's murder. Okay. So then that ruins my theory of him being killed when they were downstairs.
My man.
Nice going, bro. You hit the jackpot. Bet it's because I was here with you, huh? He does not like you. Sheesh, this was getting hard to watch. Alright. What's up, Kai? Shit. Why didn't Tozu fix the blackout himself? Is the maintenance of this place seriously our responsibility?
Not okay!
The fridge and pantry are restocked every day, though. Can't things just be consistent? Whining aside, he made a good point. Why didn't Tozu fix the blackout? Because he knew it was leading to a murder? He wanted to make it interesting? Thinking back on his spiel from earlier, the tablet's information has been divulged in such a way that both the killer and the spotless have equal chance of success, unless... Okay. Okay, so maybe the culprit was there, set something up so that Wolfgang would die, stayed down there, and so Tozu didn't fix the blackout immediately because he wanted to give the culprit time to clean up and leave the crime scene before everybody came down to investigate. Did Tozu abstain from fixing the blackout because it was important to the killer? They could easily make their escape if no one could see anything.
Wait.
Oh yeah, Damon, since you're here, I've been thinking really hard about those footsteps we heard.
come again.
When we were in the storage closet?
No, seriously.
Yeah, they were soft, right? Like the person was wearing socks?
I see.
Now that you mention it, it did sound like socks on a hard floor. Of all things to be right about, it has to be this.
Eh?
What do you mean?
Man.
I mean, why didn't the killer just wear shoes? Think about it. The sound of something like heels would be pretty distinct, right? Or what about sneakers? They get really squeaky on a smooth floor. And
Don't say
what
that.
I'm saying is, you could totally figure out the shoe from the sound it makes. And if you know what shoes the killer had on, you could just look for the person with the matching pair. But socks, anyone can be wearing socks. The person probably removed their shoes for that reason.
This sucks.
Oh, just our luck.
Yeah.
Is it me or is there something funky about this place?
Come again.
What? I don't know, man. Everything feels kind of off. I can't place why, though, and it's bugging the crap out of me. Sounded like he just felt uncomfortable being here. I guess I can't blame him. With the turn things have taken, the tension and excitement of the tournament was all but a distant memory. And this room was now a reminder Wolfgang died right under our noses.
Where?
This might end like the mock trial where only a couple people know what they're doing. Okay. Is there nothing else? Okay, but she wants to talk again. So, like... What are we supposed to talk about her with? I mean, what are we supposed to talk with her about?
Where?
Girl. Girly. What am I missing? Oh. The cabinets? The kitchen? Okay. Yep. May as well skim through the kitchen just in case. Is there gonna be missing cereal and alcohol? Looking inside the cabinets, there didn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. Except, oh, the knife. This knife block had a knife missing from it. For a kitchen knife to go missing at the same time a knife was found floating in the boiler room's water, that can't be a coincidence. Missing knife. I wonder, it seems really obvious that he died because of the conductive water. So I wonder if maybe the knife and the blood was just there to lead us on the wrong path and make us think that he died from like blood loss. Uh-oh. Oh my, would you look at the time? I dare say we ought to get this trial started soon. How does 20 minutes from now sound? Great. Please continue to investigate until then. See you later. What? There's only 20 minutes until the trial?
Hang on.
Damon. Jeez, how does she keep scaring me? The investigation's almost over. We need to find the other three and hear their testimonies.
That's...
The other three?
As I was saying...
Toshiko, Ingrid, and Diana.
Jeez.
Alright, calm down. Desmond said they were in the courtyard, right?
I'm talking.
And Diana's in the laundry room. I'm suspicious of Diana too for some reason. Then let's talk to Diana first since the laundry room is in the same building. In the meantime, don't panic, okay?
Can't you see?
I'm not panicking. As she said that, she motioned for me to follow her over to the door. Eva might deny it, but the anxiety which had been bubbling up inside her was clearly starting to boil over. Although with how fast my own heart was beating, I guess she's not alone. Alright, y'all. I'm out of here. The laundry room is... where now? That's the thingy. Is it this one? Yes. Alright, if Desmond's telling the truth, then Diana should be in here. If he's telling the truth, she might have left. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Diana was standing with her back pressed up against the wall, arms wrapped around herself in a tight embrace. She's in even worse shape than before. Diana, I need to ask you a question. Oh. Please give me a moment. It's been kind of tough.
No.
The investigation is going to end really soon. We can't wait. Okay, sorry. Where were you during the blackout? Oh, the blackout, right before the body was discovered. I was just in my room, alone, doing my makeup. You don't have any makeup on, though. I was experimenting with new combinations, so I wiped it all off already.
I see.
So you were alone in your room the entire morning? Yeah, I just wasn't feeling up to it.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm feeling a little sick all of a sudden. Do you mind if I go back to my dorm? I've asked all the questions I wanted to. Thanks.
So...
Do you think she was acting weird at all?
That's...
No weirder than the others. Anyway, since Diana gave a testimony, I can cross her off my list now. Which means the only people I still need to speak to, Toshiko and Ingrid.
Where?
I hope Ingrid and Toshiko are still in the courtyard. We won't know until we see for ourselves. Alright, let's go before this investigation ends. See, the only reason why I'm suspicious of Diana is because she was asking weird questions about Eva, and she was like, I just get a vibe from her that she's putting on a show. and her being alone in her room with no alibi just makes her even more suspicious. But other than that, she doesn't really have a reason to kill Wolfgang. Toshiko and Ingrid had retreated under the bandstand at the center of the courtyard. The larger girl was comforting the smaller girl who'd completely hidden her face behind her fan.
Hello?
Hey, have either of you been investigating? Investigating? Toshiko lowered her fan to reveal a pair of puffy eyes.
Unacceptable!
I don't know. What are you expecting me to do?
Seriously?
To look for clues. Clues?
Impossible!
How am I meant to do that? It's not like I've had to solve a murder before, you know. My hands have been a bit full, so no luck finding any clues. I can see why.
Moving on.
Okay, well, did you at least notice anything suspicious this morning? It could be a person acting odd or a strange sound. That's what most real-life testimonies talk about anyway.
Think this through.
A person acting odd? Maybe not at the time, but looking back, it definitely seems a little strange. Is it Diana? Do you want to tell him, Toshiko? Okay, fine. This morning, I saw Wolfgang.
Huh?
When did you see him? In the dorm hallway on my way back from the pharmacy. The dorm hallway. Just as I was about to enter my room, I saw Wolfgang leave his. Oh, Wolfgang. What a coincidence running into each other like this. Are you already on your way to the tournament, Miss Kayuta? It's rather early. Of course not. A professional like myself knows better than to attend some silly party. Right, my apologies. What about you? Are you going to the tournament? That's correct. I'm going to the tournament. I'm just heading to the laundry room right now. There's a batch of clothes I accidentally left behind in there.
That's...
Wolfgang said he was going to attend the tournament?
Strange.
Yesterday, he told everyone he was too busy to attend. I assumed he changed his mind. I had no reason to question him. I heard bits and pieces of their conversation from inside my dorm. The whole thing couldn't have lasted longer than a minute.
Bit complicated.
Toshiko and I are bunk buddies, by the way. Thought I mentioned that in case Damon didn't know. Okay, thanks. Anyways, when I heard what Wolfie said, my first thought was, leftover clothes? I don't remember any leftover clothes. But I figured I must have been misremembering, what with my aching head and all. Aching head? I was suffering a terrible headache this morning. Couldn't even see 2 steps in front of me, let alone get up from my bed. That's why I had gone to the pharmacy. I was hoping to procure some medication for Ingrid. Not my proudest moment, I'll admit, but I knew I could trust Toshiko with the job.
So,
Do you know what time the interaction with Wolfgang happened? 10 past 8, I think.
how should I put
The conversation happened just a little after the morning announcement. That I can tell you with confidence. Yes, 10 past would make sense. When the announcement initially played, I was just about to leave the pharmacy. Then, she was already inside the pharmacy by 8 a.m. So Wolfgang, he looked totally fine when you saw him?
Sure.
Yes, nothing seemed awry. Doesn't that call into question what Grace told me earlier? Either Grace lied to me about Wolfgang calling in sick, or she was telling the truth. Yes, and Wolfgang lied. David, we already came to that conclusion. Come on. I can probably deduce an answer if I know what time Grace left Wolfgang's dorm. If she left before 8:10 a.m., then she would have already been out of the picture by the time Wolfgang made his move. Hence why she only remembers him in bed. However, if she left after 10 a.m., then she would have been there for Wolfgang's encounter with Toshiko. Which means she lied about Wolfgang being bedridden during the period of time she was in his dorm. Funny how she never gave me a time. Toshiko's fetch quest has been added to the truth bullet section of your Tozy trinket. What else happened after Toshiko saw Wolfgang? That blackout sure gave us a spook. Toshiko and I decided to stay where we were until the lights turned on, though we did watch you and your buddies pass by. You saw that?
How should I put it?
Heard it first, then took a peek. I would have said something, but I still wasn't feeling my usual self, so we watched you up until you all went down the stairs. That must have been how you found the crime scene, right? Yeah, that's right.
Too much for me.
Such a terrible sight. I can't believe someone here may actually be behind it. Let's just hope we can solve it. There it is. Alright everyone, that's time. Please drop whatever it is you're doing and proceed over to the Tree of Ignorance. Don't make me wait too long, otherwise you'll be in for a shocking surprise. Get it? Because your trinkets can zap you. Anyway, just gonna move on. It's time.
Fingers crossed.
You two, go on ahead. Toshiko and I'll catch up.
Listen to me.
Okay, let's go, Damon. Right. I think Eva or Diana literally have no reason to think it's Diana except for the way she's acting. Eva and I made the short trek to the room with the tree. Once there, we waited for the others to arrive. Eventually, everyone had shown up. So, how are you guys feeling?
It's me.
Words wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm feeling pretty bad. I can't tell you how I feel when I don't even know what I feel. I'd rather we save the talking for the trial. The trial. In just a few moments' time, we were going to be down there. Down there in the trial room, fighting for survival using only our words. Damn it, Damon, get a grip already. Before the door in the tree opens, I need to ask Desmond if he has any new information about the taser gun.
Hi.
Hey. Hey. His voice was steady, but his eyes kept darting around the room. Did you check the taser?
Right.
Right. I did. Any findings? Just one. The gun's blast doors were missing, so it was used.
Huh?
Blast what?
Eh?
All of a sudden, the ground. Oh no, not again. Hold on to something, everyone. The Tree of Knowledge, a symbol of sentience, intuition, and understanding, The Tree of Knowledge, a symbol of sentience, intuition, and understanding, exists here only as a barren replica. The Tree of Ignorance emulates the wonder of nature but does not achieve it. And justly so, for ignorance often aspires to be seen as wisdom. Damn it.
Shit.
Well, guess we gotta cut this conversation short. I'll explain everything during the trial. Let's not keep this goat guy waiting. I like Desmond a lot.
Holy!
Oh man, this is really happening. We're so screwed. We're totally gonna die.
It is how it is.
If you go in expecting to fail, chances are you will.
Game over, man! Game over!
I'm gonna think of failure even more because you said that.
Hold your horses.
Look at it this way. Who here are the cards more stacked against? 14 people working together to solve a murder, or one person trying to lead everyone else astray?
Are we ready?
If anyone's in for a struggle, it ain't the group of 14.
Do you think?
You make a good point. Statistically, the odds are in our favor here.
It'll be okay.
Exactly. Luck will be on our side.
No, it's not.
If luck was on our side, we wouldn't be in a killing game to start with. Yeah, what you gotta say, Diana? Can I say something first before we go? Oh, what is it? It's a message for the killer.
What did you say?
Here we go. A message for the killer? The person here who killed Wolfgang. Whoever you are, can you please step forward? Is she serious? Huh?
I want to help.
We don't have to do this. This class trial. Diana, baby. Girl. If you can just find it in yourself to step forward and bring this whole thing to an end already, nobody's gonna do that. Then please. Despite Diana's pleas, no one came forward. Right.
Come on.
If someone's determined enough to commit murder, they won't back down because of one person's pleas. Right. What it... She really thought that was gonna work. Since we're on the subject, I also got a message for the killer. Now this one's gonna be a little more violent, I bet.
Dumbass!
Yep. Don't forget that the punishment fits the crime, asshole. Enjoy the fucking death penalty. Yup. Grace spat out those words and disappeared into the opening of the tree.
Can I go now?
Co-signed.
Slow down.
Yo, broski, wait up. One by one, people began to follow suit. I guess if it's time to go. We knew where the stairs would take us and where the elevator afterwards would deliver us. But everything beyond that was shrouded in uncertainty. There was no mock trial awaiting us, no faux murder designed to waste our time with a stupid mystery. This was undoubtedly real. Undoubtedly real. Come on, Damon, get a hold of yourself already. Taking a deep breath, I approached the opening in the tree and descended into the darkness. It was the same elevator, the same slow churning of metal and echoing sounds of clunky machinery. And yet, something was different. Someone was gone. Someone who I never held in high regard, but who was still a person nonetheless. A person with feelings. A person with aspirations. A person with a family. A person who I will never hear speak again. Not a single word. Am I ready for this? Was what I did during the investigation the best I could have done? Will it be enough to carry me through this trial? Will it be enough to lead me to Wolfgang's killer? I won't know until I do it. Until I face this trial head on. There's no way I can place my faith in the other people here. There's no way they'll come to the correct conclusion. Our survival depends on me. The elevator began to slow, snapping me back to reality. I adjusted my tie and stood up tall, and when movement stopped completely, the doors in front of us opened.
Rise and shine.
Somebody call an ambulance. I think I've caught a case of deja vu.
Isn't this lovely?
It feels like only yesterday we were playing detective with the corpse of a crime scene. My, how insouciant and chipper so many of you used to be.
How interesting.
After all, that back and forth over simple how done it mystery, I'm truly curious what today's trial will lead.
Yeah,
Just to remind myself, our names are on the podiums, right? Eager to start, are we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, to find your podium, just look for where your name is written.
The show must
Come
go
on now, hop to it. I'm so excited I can barely wait a second longer. I really don't want to do this.
Oh, crud.
We gotta do as he says though, otherwise that enforcer lady might get mad. Knowing we were powerless to disobey Tozu, we began to disperse and locate our podiums.
Hey,
It's okay everyone. If we work together, we can do this.
we can't give up.
Right guys, if we work together, we can solve this case. So come on, let's do this for Wolfgang. Although her words elicited nods from the other students, the expressions on their faces told a different story. It was an expression I couldn't help but feel conflicted over, in a moment where I shouldn't have been focusing on my feelings. An expression of unmistakable fear. For days now, I've been angry over the mock trial. Angry at how much people resented me for telling the truth, how they twisted my words and assumed my intentions. I'm angry, but that didn't mean I wanted to be right. I would have been happy for reality to prove me wrong, for no one to buckle under the pressure of the killing game. But good endings like that only exist in stories. Reality was apathetic to what we wanted, and the events of today proved we were at its mercy. Aw, bye Wolfgang. So I stood there at my podium, conflicted. To think this tragedy could have been avoided had people just listened to me. But who was it that encouraged everyone to turn on me? Who was it that encouraged everyone to trust each other? If Wolfgang hadn't been so naive, if he just told people to protect themselves rather than each other, then maybe he would still be here. Regardless, I can't let myself be consumed by the what-ifs. Although the others may have failed at preventing Wolfgang's murder, I, at the very least, can solve it. I'll uncover this killer. Let them face the consequences of their actions. I'll solve this case and survive. All right. Okay, I don't think I need to look at the truth bullets, actually. Let's just start.
Welcome.
Oh,
Unlike
wait.
previously, today will be no circus. No mockery woven with stitches.
I
and
didn't mean to
needles.
skip it like that. I just wanted to put it on auto. Hold on. Okay.
A true, fair, and proper trial will commence.
My bad,
Battle
y'all.
of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so, you must vote for who you believe is the blackened. If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing game experience. However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, while the blackened will be granted release from this academy. Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
Can someone please break this silence?
You just did.
I don't want to talk about this.
We have to, though.
Wolfgang deserves justice. But putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed.
Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
Don't cry, Toshiko.
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this, whatever it takes, no matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it. How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose?
She is
That
Australian.
bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line.
I hear it now.
What you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer?
Well, nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means.
Like Diana did?
For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Okay. I don't think Grace did it.
What the? Are you accusing
I don't
me
think
of
it was
something?
Grace. That's too obvious.
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside.
I think she's just sad. She really liked him.
Intentionally or not, it really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented. You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
She has an alibi, though.
Huh?
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone, because she went to the game tournament.
Right.
Grace attended the tournament?
Yeah.
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Well, yes, because the murder occurred when we were at the
Well,
tournament.
Yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like
Unless it was
half
something
an hour
set
before the
up
murder.
to trigger at
Nobody left
9:35.
the tournament after it started.
Then it could have been
either.
anybody, really.
Nobody I know of, anyway.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
So, Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot thread resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
So Jean, Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament. And me. And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Why would we be lying when we could all die?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
Right.
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation?
What did he say?
You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
Because we left when the blackout occurred.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
We were.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs. I would know. I saw him.
There was a blackout?
Eloise.
You don't remember?
Okay, even so, yes, she was not in the room, but also we've established that there was a blackout in that building, and that people who were not in that building did not experience it. But she still knows about it, so why are you acting dense? Okay. Yeah. The reason why is that some people can recall blackout but not others? Blackout affected one building.
I got it. The reason not everyone experienced a blackout is because only the building containing our dorms was affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned? Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets. Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones, too. Eva and Grace checked storage closet A. Jet and I checked storage closet B. Damon and Kai checked storage closet C. And Jean and Mark checked storage closet D.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me, too.
Grace?
Yeah, we were together.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
Grace about to go off on that ass.
You're sorry
Yep.
for accusing me of murder.
Yep.
Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for it!
Whoa! I'm cool, dude.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something about his last known whereabouts.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
Because they share a room.
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
The clothes on the floor.
Grace and Lawyer Man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside. Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Why would Ulysses know anything?
Winona would.
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
Was.
Well, we only shared a dorm
Was.
for one night.
Yeah.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Well, he's dead, so no.
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall. Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
For reasons.
Totally not suspicious.
It was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe. I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me. So when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
So did we.
Since the room swap happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half. Ugh, gross.
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night. Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point? Like, maybe he said something that stuck out to you, or... Oh, maybe he had trouble getting to sleep.
No. Nothing weird happened last night. Nothing happened last night, but... The morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Sick?
With a stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed. I was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement. And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
What?
What did Grace tell you?
Right.
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
Well, why would she tell you that she wanted to play with Wolfgang, but she failed?
That she did.
She probably didn't think it was anybody's business.
Since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her. If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game? No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Huh?
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What then should we make of the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
What contradiction?
What the hell do you mean, contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Because he lied about being
Good
sick.
point. If Wolfgang really were bedridden,
He wasn't. He just
would've
lied
stayed
about
in his
it.
room.
I'm sorry, are you
Now
all
that you
dumb?
mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend like 4 flights of stairs? It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick.
It's not my fault it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
So more to the story than Grace is telling us? Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. I need to solve this mystery and set things straight. I actually forgot how to play, so this might be a little rough, y'all. Okay, let me just... Tournament.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Oh. Okay.
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
He did.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
There's a major discrepancy in Grace's testimony, but is she necessarily at fault for that?
Why don't you tell
this
everyone
is hard.
the
Hold
truth,
on.
Grace?
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
Oh god, this is hard. Because I know the answer is that Wolfgang lied about being sick because Tishko saw him up and around.
Why don't you tell
Oh wait, no,
everyone the truth?
I did not want to shoot anything.
I've got nothing else to explain.
I think
The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
No.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
No, that's wrong!
Okay, sure. Sure.
It's true Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body. But that's not Grace's fault.
Mm-hmm.
The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
Right.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Yes, I remember now. Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication. The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face
With Wolfgang?
Hold the phone. Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course, He never made it.
Because he
I don't
wasn't
wanna
trying
be
to
that
go.
guy, but can anyone confirm this?
Mm-hmm. I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
Yep.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
To meet somebody in the boiler room at 8:15.
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
Meeting somebody who left him a note. The note.
This is it. During the investigation, I found this note tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink. But some parts are still legible.
Secret, 8:15 a.m. Boiler room, close the door.
This mentions the boiler room.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket. It can't be a coincidence. This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
You know what? You know what? You know what? The note told him to to close the door so that the culprit could come up outside and lock him in without him knowing. I really think it's Eva because she said she had investigated the boiler room, but also I don't know if free times matter much, but when we did the free time with her, she was down there, not by the boiler room, but in that underground area. Like, that could have been her snooping around and planning things. Or Grace.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious.
And Eva knows his secret, or knows his blackmail.
Something to do with it.
Agreeing to meet a stranger in some spooky, dark place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
No. The only time I recall him receiving anything was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
was that she wouldn't know.
From the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs.
Yep.
That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other? Talk about double
Well,
standards.
that's why he went down, maybe, to get his blackmail.
Are we sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace? Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Not to interrupt, but on the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For reason. Yep, speak with them. Them only.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it, they could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret.
So they weren't trying to convince him that they had
if
his
Wolfgang
blackmail,
did
but
confront his person,
the other way around.
I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note. Not least act coy about information they both know.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Oh, I've got just the idea. Yo! Person who Wolfgang had blackmail on! If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, right.
Damon, let's speak up.
Hey! Person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail! If you're innocent, say something already!
Let's speak up. Yep, you should. Well, no, but let's be honest before we get called out and look even more suspicious. I don't know. Oh, sorry, y'all. I forgot to read. I don't know. Although everyone may follow my direction during the trial, since they can't ignore the evidence on my side, when it comes to me of all people owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all that? Yes. Does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether or not I... Oh?
I was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot.
He had your blackmail?
But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Hmm?
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
He had yours.
Nah, not his.
He had mine.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
However, it's thanks to him that I have my own.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it. If you need the proof.
Ah, Wolfgang's envelope had the same signature.
Aye. I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should have all been said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude. My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth! Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Indeed. To acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? No. Would they be just as forgiving? No.
I take it our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
No one's reciting shit. It was only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Say something, Damon.
Even if we knew who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his killer. It's annoying they won't speak up, sure. But unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it.
So let's do it, because Wolfgang's dead, so who cares?
I just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people.
Okay.
Especially now that he's gone.
Okay. I guess.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
The cases, or...
Obviously, the case. The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
You certainly talk a lot stranger than you used to, but I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
No. We can't. Stabbed to death.
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near him. And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
Well, no, because if he was killed at 9:35, let's say he was stabbed to death, was killed at 9:35, the blood would not be dried. And also, he didn't seem to have any like large wounds on him, just that one on the back of his neck, by the bruising. The blood had to have come from someone or something else and had to have been put there earlier.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
The knife was bloody, so...
Huh. Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway. While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
That would line up with how we found him.
The killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway, then followed him into the boiler room? No, that's not what happened. I need to show everyone where they've gone wrong. Oh god, okay. These are tricky, I'm not going to lie. What spots?
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence.
Okay.
It was floating in the water right next to it.
Right.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
Okay.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Yeah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind, and the rest is history.
Stabbed
With
him
that
from behind.
knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
They don't make sense.
Whatever story they're trying to spin here, it's definitely not the truth. I can conclude as much from the crime scene. Okay.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Maybe.
Nah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
Okay, whoops.
That does not dispute the possibility of a confrontation.
Damn it, she's right. Well, I didn't hit her thing. Hold on.
Died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence.
Wait.
It was floating in the water right
Nope,
next to
I didn't want to shoot anything.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Yeah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
Nobody stabbed him from behind.
No, that's wrong!
He wasn't stabbed from behind. Oop.
Jed, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor. But did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured. Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds. In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss.
Right.
Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Hey, man, it's not like I didn't try. It's just... the stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
Yeah, but it's hard to adjust your mind to thinking
Not
that
everyone
way.
has the stomach for investigating.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting. Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise, and a tiny red dot. His hands were burnt too, so 3 injuries in total. Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Junior high, my dear Wilson. The killer used a flamethrower.
No.
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a flamethrower, I suppose.
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get for vocalizing my thoughts?
Sorry, lass.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said. The burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases
What?
of corona paralysis.
What's that?
Chiaro, huh?
Right.
Ooh, now this I know. Coronoparalysis. It's something which happens to lightning strikes.
So he was electrocuted.
Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next day.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
He was electrocuted.
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
Yep.
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
We're trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
Could he not have been struck before the killing game? Fate is stronger than will, you know.
Or he didn't have those
Perhaps the
before.
deity decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Nay, those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that. If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted, wouldn't it mean Wolfgang somehow went outside?
Not necessarily. This is only something I thought of just now, but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Equivalent in damage to a lightning strike. The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back on the boiler room and what was inside it, right, if I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold some weight. Is it gonna be this or where the taser was? This?
This is it.
Okay.
Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
Yes, I do. Why?
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief. What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
Dining on people, tell us what's going on. Yeah, why didn't she mention this other girl? The hell, I never saw her. You were there too, bargain bin. There's a floor below us, that's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
I woke up first.
Yeah. She did. Anyway, Ava, you agree the generator
Is her name Ava? I've been calling her Eva this whole time.
Right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Okay, Winona. Winona, I like you. Don't irritate me.
Two things. First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief. Second, and more importantly, Where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it?
Well, what else could it have been?
Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Finding out a standard shift? If so.
That's...
Damn it, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. Oh, okay. I know how to fast forward. Whoa, wait. Sometimes a student will dislike your argument so much that they will initiate a one-on-one debate with you. We call this rebuttal showdown. During rebuttal showdown, your opponent will fire remarks at you, and it's your job to counter them. Use that to slice through it, slash in the direction of the button pressed. To slice diagonally, simply press 2 keys at the same time. Be sure to pay close attention to the shape, size, and position of your opponent's remarks, as these will clue you into what direction you should slice. Every time you strike white text, the green side of the screen will shift left to represent your argument succeeding. Likewise, every time you miss white text, the orange side of the screen will shift right to show that your opponent is winning. If you cut through enough remarks, you will advance to the next stage. If you haven't, you will retreat. If you're somewhere in the middle, you and your opponent will wrestle for control in a short round of cross swords. In order to gain the upper hand, you must rapidly left click. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Okay. Now to the meat of the duel, truth blades. Similar to non-stop debates, any suspected contradictions will be highlighted in gold. Hold down right click to slice them apart with a truth blade. Of course, don't start slicing the second you see gold. Assess the validity of the remark and check if you have the correct truth blade equipped. Well, now let's not keep Winona waiting any longer. Too bad. Okay, this might be a little wonky because I'm using controller. So let me try to figure out how to do this.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days in which the generator might have been destroyed.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout if it was already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout?
Wait.
The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after the murder.
Hold on.
You only assume it happened during it. Not the smartest argument from a supposed ultimate debater.
Okay. So I know what it is. Because I have to get the DJ pad clock, but I need to figure out how to change the bullet.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or is being moronic standard procedure in debate.
Oh my god, okay, I'm just gonna have to use this.
The blackout? The building may well have lost its power at any point before or is being moronic. What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after the murder. You only assume it happened during it. Not the smartest argument from a supposed ultimate debater.
How can I change this? Oh my god, okay. Okay, wait. If I unplug my controller, can I please switch this to,
What about the blackout?
Okay.
The building may very well have lost its power.
Got it.
At any point before or after.
There we go.
I'll cut through those words!
That was really crazy.
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament. Mark's DJ pad. While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, A digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet. 9:35 a.m.
Yep. Right, Mark?
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
You could just say
answer
yes.
with a yes
Right.
or no, will you?
Yes.
Well, no. She and I are like, we always see eye to eye.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified.
Yep.
Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened, and...
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
What?
Huh?
What do we know is not true?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder.
How?
Because it isn't even conductive.
Well, it's not now. But it could have been.
Not? After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Yep, she pulled out the light bulb and threw it in, and it didn't light up.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
Well,
if you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough.
The cord has something to do with it. The extension cord.
Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water. If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Okay, so yeah, it's the extension cord with the exposed wires.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
As for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
Is the generator really unrelated to the case? No, it's related, and so is the extension cord. But the timing of the blackout's too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
It mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room floor. A toy gun or something. At least, that's how it came across to me.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Well, Damon said the something plate,
Nope.
sir.
The taser was definitely used.
Yeah.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage
Maybe
closets.
from the gacha?
It belongs to someone here.
Yeah, maybe Damon, not Damon, maybe Wolfgang won it.
Just think about it for 1 second.
So maybe he had been planning to kill somebody using
Everyone
the
here
taser
has
gun.
a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment.
Are you trying to say Desmond brought
Jet's
it?
got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff? What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is
But then
Desmond.
why would he... Desmond didn't do it, and I need you to stop talking about him right now.
No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Why would he tell us that the taser
Listen,
had been
I get where
used?
you guys are coming from, but
if it was him.
That taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
No, that's a lie.
What?
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocence won't fool me, not when I know the truth. What are we talking about? What proves Desmond is lying? His talent?
A marksman is obviously going to have a taser.
Like I said, I don't have any...
Okay. What proves he's lying? His blackmail?
I got it.
I don't remember what his blackmail was.
The blackmail Tozu gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
No. But the person did inform me
Eva,
of what it
or
said.
Ava. Got it, that's right, that's right. With his weapons at hand, Desmond Guard's the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to
But
match.
that doesn't
I think
confirm
it's
that
legit.
he's has a taser.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Desmond didn't say he
Don't
didn't
judge
have any
me.
weapons.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone.
Diana, I don't trust you.
He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
It's Eva!
There's no other way to explain it.
If she had, if she had his blackmail, if we're saying that whoever brought the taser to the boiler room got the idea to go into his room based on the blackmail and look for this weapon, it's Eva. Because she had it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it is just a flimsy excuse.
Okay, Grace. All right, what do we have here?
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Okay.
Plus, you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But...
If this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
Right.
I was with Desmond.
Oh wait, nope, wait. I forgot how to
What are you talking about? That doesn't prove anything.
I forgot what to do with those. I'm gonna fail.
Desmond is the killer.
I'm gonna fail.
The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
I know I'm gonna die.
But
If this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I was with Desmond.
How do I
call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpfulness, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
When the murder happened,
Is Desmond innocent? Okay, wait a minute. When I compare the evidence to everyone's statements...
Desmond is the killer! The taser gun came from his room!
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard!
I forgot what to do with,
This is about avoiding suspicion.
No, how do I...
Why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I
was with Desmond.
How do I do this? Oh, okay.
I call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpless, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
when the murder happened.
I forgot how to take statements. No.
The taser gun came from his room.
Okay.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
Damn it, I missed my chance. But I can't get anyone to listen to me. This case will never be solved. Game over. Okay. I'm gonna continue, but let me watch my other episode. Because I don't remember how to bring up the instructions. I forgot how to grab bullets, truth bullets. Okay. So I just shoot it like normal. I just shoot it normally.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But if this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
There we go. Okay. That was so easy, and it took me forever to figure out how to agree with somebody.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop.
Because you were a suspicious
They're obviously
person,
working
Grace.
together.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him? Should the wrong vote be cast? Nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
Right.
That's right. And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
We don't know that.
Grace, I realize Desmond's
I don't think it's her. I don't think it's Desmond, but we don't know that she's too nice.
To keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS.
Okay, Cassidy.
Anyway, we
let's
should
get
totally
serious.
thank Desmond for clearing things up now.
Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
All in a day's work, baby!
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Yeah. You need to hear it again, Eva?
Again? But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
All right. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Sounds like something you would have done.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
Now why?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings.
Okay.
With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
What? Anybody could have just peeped Desmond in the dining hall and taken the opportunity to sneak into his room.
If someone's inside
Eva.
Anyone could have done that.
Now I know it's definitely her.
Who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Seems like you're grasping.
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed. Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
No, it does not.
Well, guess this taser gun was a bust.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie. If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible...
I know who stole it.
Why don't we... talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead? You know, the ones that weren't burn marks?
His bruise?
Those seem like they could lead
That
us
came from the rolling
somewhere.
pin that was inside the storage closet where Eva was with Grace.
Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back
I don't know
of
what
his
the
neck.
dot was, though.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh?
Want to try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Okay.
Great.
Let's discuss the bruise first.
Okay. It's the rolling pin.
I think it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
Correct.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight?
No.
Someone might have attacked him.
Yep. Oh.
And aimed for his neck.
Oh, wait, that was right. That was right. Okay, hold on.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must...
Yes. Something did hit him.
Kai's right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Yep.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
A rolling pin.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
There's a dented rolling pin in the storage
found
closet
his pin inside storage closet A.
with handprints on it.
Which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder.
Handprints?
Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser! Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude, especially when governed under constricting pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
I guess it makes sense.
After shooting Wolfgang with the taser, what was the killer's next move? If I figured that out, I'll be one step closer to solving this case. So, you beat him, you shoot him with the taser, you drag him to the water, shoot him with the taser, and then,
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already
downstairs.
It did.
Because the two of us went inside closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember? Jed and I checked closet B. Eamon and Kai checked closet C. Eva and Grace checked closet A.
Yes.
And Jean and Mark checked closet D.
Right.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before we came down.
No, 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 no!
I think Mark's right.
No, it's the last bit. I could not hit it.
Could run upstairs.
Okay, okay.
Immediately after discarding the pin.
Yep.
So let me...
The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin. And then chucked the pin into closet A? When exactly did they discard the pin? They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the two of us went inside closet A. Why were you inside the closet? To find the backup generator, remember? Everyone checked closet B. Eva and Kai checked closet C. Eva and Grace checked closet A. And Jean and Mark checked closet B.
Yep. Okay, okay.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before upstairs. Leave me out of this.
Wait.
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin. And then chucked the pin into closet A?
That was it, though. Okay, maybe it's the last one then.
Just discard the pin. Before we came downstairs.
No, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately discarding the pin.
No, that's wrong!
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time, when the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator. Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from.
That's what okay, maybe it was Diana. Because
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
the footsteps came from the boiler
Not ringing any
room
bells.
past Damon and Kai's room.
Jen and me didn't really
which
hear it over all
means
our talking.
let me pause
I
this.
heard the footsteps.
Which means they would have had to pass the room that Eva and Grace were in, and Cassidy and Jet were in, and go past the other rooms as well towards the steps. So maybe it wasn't anybody who was searching the rooms, but it was somebody upstairs?
Huh? You did?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say, I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people can attest to hearing them...
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running. Since everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
So was it Diana?
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still
I'm just
in their
confused as to what
closets
her
after
motive
Damon and I
is.
found Wolfgang.
I feel like everything points to
So-
Eva, except for that.
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold up! So the killer had been right next to us?
Boy, that's a given.
Huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Okay, but they didn't.
Well, they
You're
did
fine.
it, so I don't see what
Right.
the problem is.
Settle
Jeez,
down.
You're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
For the two who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
Socks. Somebody wearing socks.
It was kinda... socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Because their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
No.
Why are you
I
getting
get what
upset,
she's
Diana?
saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind.
So we're saying it had to be
If the killer
somebody
had worn theirs, we might have been able
with
to figure out their
distinctive
footwear
shoes?
from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
How?
What?
Oi, are you pulling our leg?
I'm completely serious. Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Huh?
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
Then it'd be Diana.
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
Diana. Is it really Diana? Is it really Diana? It's really Diana? Whoa. Girl.
It has to be you!
Really?
Diana, it's you, isn't it?
I thought I was doing too much being
makeup
suspicious
girl?
of her. Oh my god.
She's the only one here without an alibi. Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys,
Diana.
if she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even. You're totally right, though.
Sorry, I didn't mean to miss.
Since
to skip
Diana's
that
the
text.
only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about?
Diana?
Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
I think you're acting
the fact
weird.
You weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi, right, Ava?
Ava?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
But then Ava
During
left.
the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cash set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
It's just... I just feel like it's too obvious to make it the one person who doesn't have an alibi. I don't know. She was acting weird.
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer.
But I feel...
No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. She really did this? Whoa. I would like to find out why.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail?
Maybe.
Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Could be.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Could be.
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand, and the knife in the other.
No.
Dual wielding weapons?
No, because there were two
This
hands
killer's
on the
next
rolling
level.
pin. There were two hands on the rolling pin. That person's point is clearly impossible. Yep.
If it was...
Saying she wounded herself? I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one.
No, that's wrong!
Impossible.
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang. You can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket. Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then, who held the knife?
Must have been Wolfgang?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler
He brought the
room.
knife with him.
Wolfgang Akire.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang, carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game.
He's trying to protect
At that
himself.
point, doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. He'd know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find, either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Yep.
Besides, if Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process.
And I guess the bobby pin came from her too, because she does have her hair pulled back in some parts.
Trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed.
If
I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury.
You might.
But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
You might. I don't know.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut.
Right.
Of course. That also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
She's a makeup artist. She could have covered it.
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view. After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
Yes. Yes, because of her talent. How did Diana hide her wounds? Diana's talent.
I got it. Talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
She really did it? Why?
No. No. But I...
So no.
Wait.
I didn't get anything wrong.
Diana, did you just say no?
Right.
As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds?
Right.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. You guys know what this means, right, guys? Diana is...
She just admitted it.
Diana just?
Diana basically just confessed!
A confession? Are you for real?
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang. Which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
I see. I see now what you're saying. Diana. She lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. How cruel!
Diana, It wasn't me!
But you just said no.
I promise. It wasn't me.
Okay, wait. Either she's lying and she's about to have one of those "it wasn't me" meltdowns that the culprits always have. Or if it really wasn't her, because the blood was dried. So maybe she did have some type of confrontation with him in the boiler room. Maybe like all that stuff about 815 and all that stuff was her. Wolfgang attacked her. She left and it's somebody else who came and finished the job. Unrelated to Diana.
To think she could preach about friendship after
Maybe.
committing a violent crime.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
Ah! That's so fucked! Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
Yeah.
Her side?
Well, you know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
I'd like to hear too.
What does it matter what she says?
Well, because she doesn't, like, what is her motive?
Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is. If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No. No, no!
All right, girl, I'm gonna need you to say something other than no. We have to vote for the killer. I've proven it beyond a reasonable doubt, so...
No. No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get this strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why, all of a sudden, do I doubt myself? Okay. Let's see what they're saying first.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolf was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote!
Is Diana telling the truth? How's that possible when I already know the truth? It can't be possible. Not unless...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
Okay.
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer,
I'm confused about...
I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting
what
for
the answer
then?
is here.
Let's get this over with and vote! Diana was the one who lured
Is it about
Wolfgang to the boiler
her not
room.
having an alibi?
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi...
Oop, that's not it.
That doesn't mean...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
What do I have here?
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
I missed my chance, ran out of time. I'm not gonna give up. But I need to understand.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there,
the note?
She killed him.
Okay.
No, that's wrong!
Hold on. Grace, you're overlooking a crucial detail. Do you recall the note I found in Wolfgang's blazer pocket? It asked him to meet in the boiler room at 8:15 a.m. But, according to the Tozu tablet, he died over an hour later at 9:35 a.m. That means Wolfgang didn't die right after he got to the boiler room.
What's your point?
My point is that the killer had no reason to lure Wolfgang to the boiler room and then wait over an hour to kill him. There's no guarantee another person won't enter the room during that time. It's in the killer's best interest to be in and out of there as fast as possible.
Okay.
When we originally discussed the note, we lacked the context to properly understand this time discrepancy. But if we go with your idea that Diana killed Wolfgang immediately, then that discrepancy becomes all too clear.
How do you know Wolfgang didn't just arrive late?
Because Tushka saw him.
He was already on his way when I ran into him
Yeah.
at 10 a.m. He must have arrived on time.
Same goes for the killer. I doubt Wolfgang would stay in the boiler room for long if no one came to meet him. For that reason, we can assume Wolfgang was knocked unconscious soon after he arrived. But there's such a long period of time between him being knocked out and him being killed. Unless you want to tell me he and Diana were in an hour-long struggle, then I'm sure there's more to the mystery here.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up!
Oh, okay. Alright. Grace, girl, I know that was your man, but...
What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you see this as a trick? All of Diana's blubbering and crying is just a farce to make us think she's innocent.
I wouldn't fall for a farce like that. My only concern is the evidence not adding up.
If you're still not convinced Diana is the killer, then let me show you something you overlooked.
What did I overlook?
I call it undeniable fucking proof! I don't give a damn what Diana says.
Nope.
Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How
Okay.
could the killer be anyone but her?
Grace seems to think she knows more about the crime scene than I do. But if that were true, she would have already realized the flaw in her argument.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her?
Okay, I need to avoid getting the, yellow words. Okay.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her?
Okay. Let's see.
If Diana lured Wolfgang downstairs, why would she take over an hour to kill him? It doesn't make sense. That one is a risk of someone else entering the boiler room.
What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in because she could just lock the fucking door. Boom. Look at that.
Okay.
No intruders.
So it's the...
Now take your argument and shove it up your ass.
Alright, let me do this. Let me... Alright, I gotta switch the bullet.
What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry
Okay.
about anyone walking in because she could just lock the fucking door.
Where did it go?
Boom. Look at that. No intruders. Now take your argument and shove it up your ass. What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in because she could just lock the fucking door.
I'll cut through those words.
The boiler room door can't be relied upon here. If Diana locked it, she would be trapping herself inside the boiler room.
What?
The doorknob has been flipped so that the keyhole faces inside, while the lock faces outside. Had you investigated the crime scene more closely, you might have realized this detail sooner. In any case, locking the door would lock everyone inside the room, not outside.
Right.
If Diana was the killer, she'd be better off leaving the door open.
How the heck do you even flip a doorknob? Sounds like something only a tradesperson.
Meh. You really think so? Swapping a doorknob is easy. Well, last time I did anything like it was a while ago, but everyone here knows knobs are screwable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get a screwdriver and know what you're doing, you can rotate the doorknob quick smart.
If you can swap a doorknob, then I guess anyone can.
Right on.
I'm calling him an idiot.
Wait, are you saying that like it's a bad thing?
Yes, he is, Jeff.
Is that why Diana remained in the boiler room after Wolfgang died? She had been locked inside?
What do you make of the footsteps then? If they were Diana's, it would imply she escaped the boiler room. How do you suppose she did that?
Diana's way of escaping the boiler room. Well, somebody... Oh, is it her pin? Her bobby pin? From the evidence in the boiler room, I'm fairly confident I can deduce a method.
This is it.
Mm-hmm.
Near the boiler room door, I discovered a thin piece of metal. At first glance, it didn't look important, but if you were to fold it in half, theoretically, it would look like a hairpin.
Ah, she used the classic maneuver. Picking a lock with a hairpin. It can be done, it just takes a bit of practice.
Diana probably had this hairpin inside her makeup bag, so she used it to fiddle with the lock until it eventually came undone, which, judging by the timing of her footsteps, happened late into the blackout.
Messing with a lock
So
in
she
pitch
was in there
blackness.
with the dead body.
Whew. Now that would be impossible for me.
Right. Even if Diana did access light, like through the Tozu trinket, undoing the lock would still be difficult. Way too difficult of a situation to deliberately put herself in.
In which case, that can mean only one thing. She'd been set up. Why could Diana not leave the boiler room? Someone else locked the door.
I got it. Someone else must have locked the door.
What?
If we go with our current train of thought, the doorknob was rearranged so you could only lock it from the outside. It doesn't make sense for Diana to rearrange the lock, enter the room, and deliberately trap herself inside, which means someone else must have locked the door. I know this doesn't necessarily clear Diana's suspicion, but it's strange enough to warrant further investigation.
I'd rather resolve this thread before we move on to voting.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't. So it's
We
not
could
her,
easily miss something important,
which makes me
if
look
we
towards
turn
Eva again.
our noses away.
So, why did this mystery person close the door in the first place?
To
What
frame
if
Diana?
They saw the scuffle between Wolfie and Diana and closed the door to protect themselves.
Instead of seeking help or trying to stop the scuffle?
You say that like closing the door isn't exactly what you would do.
What kind of asshole do you take me for?
Punk.
Any chance they locked it to prevent Diana from escaping?
And somehow unscrewed the doorknob without drawing attention to themselves?
Didn't you hear him? He's talking about the door being locked, not the doorknob being unscrewed.
Unless two entirely different people just so happen to interfere with the boiler room at two entirely separate intervals. The one who locked the door is most likely the one who flipped it, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you should be wondering the same thing. How did they unscrew the doorknob without catching anyone's attention?
Because of the blackout?
Yeah. Doesn't sound possible.
Not in the moment, it isn't. But what if the doorknob had been swapped beforehand?
Or that.
Say this person knew Wolfgang and Diana were coming to the boiler room. They could have swapped
Which
the knob in advance.
Eva would know because she and Diana
waited
were
for
roommates.
Diana and Wolfgang to enter, and then closed and locked the door.
So the flipping of the doorknob was premeditated?
With what we currently know, I'd wager it's our safest assumption. At least, until we hear Diana's side of the story.
Diana, since you were the last person with Wolfgang, your testimony could be our most valuable piece of evidence yet. You need to tell me what happened.
I need you to speak up, girl.
If not for me, or for you. then at the very least,
for Wolfgang,
do it for Wolfgang's sake.
I'm sorry. I'm really
okay.
I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay. But all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die.
Oof. So do you know who did it?
It's all my fault. All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
So is this a confession, or?
No!
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did, but I still failed him as a friend. I failed him then. And I failed him here. But
so how did you watch him die, but then you don't know who killed him?
Things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Diana watched Wolfgang die, right?
It's okay, sweetheart. Come on now, take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still hasn't gone away. Damn it, what am I doing? Because of one girl, I've been doubting myself and jumping from one argument to another. If I can't piece together my own thoughts, how can I possibly piece together this case? I need to get a grip on myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to persevere. Because if I don't, if everyone else here votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive.
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy? Perhaps you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself.
Okay.
Something like a nice cup of tea. Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Tozu's Tea Time. If you haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip. Now, a question from me to you. What are sheep good at, if anything? Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding, absolutely nothing. Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music. Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to prove their worth when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals. Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided. It seems that's about all the time we have. Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson. Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea.
All right.
Ta-ta!
Bye. All right, guys, I'm going to have to end it there because I'm not sure how much longer this class trial is going to be, and I don't want to be sat here for, another 3+ hours. We will finish it in the next video, though. If you enjoyed this one, give it a like, consider subscribing, and commenting, and I will see you then. Bye.